Hello. Happy full moon in Cancer, everybody. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. So the Cancer full moon is today or tomorrow, the 30th, depending on where you are. But the lunations always affect us for like a couple weeks. And this is the last lunation of 2020, and it's going to be going into 2021. So 2020, which adds up to 4, is the number of structure and the home. And I think everybody can kind of relate to that this year with things that we were going through. And then 2021 adds up to 5, and the number 5 is the number of freedom. It looks both ways. There's straight lines and circular lines, which represent the masculine and the feminine. And with all of the feminine energy coming up this year and kind of being reborn in a way, I think everybody can kind of like feel this, and a lot of people have been in their feels lately, and if you haven't, bless you. I definitely have been. But so this basically is about going from the rigidity energy of this year, obviously, into fluidity. And so Cancer is the sign of the crab. It's a feminine sign. It's a watery sign, so very intuitive, very feeling. And the Cancer is very sensitive. And so the Cancer represented by the crab, goes into its shell and hides from tough things that are actually designed to move you forward. So some of the shadow signs of Cancer are to be like clingy, possessive, manipulative, too cautious of not moving forward and not being able to set boundaries. So maybe take a look at your life and see where in your life maybe you were doing that this year, because you're getting a chance to kind of release that now. Full moons are about releasing, and it's also about illumination, so shining the light on those issues. Sorry, my heater just kicked on, if you can hear that. And so negative feelings are a little bit painful, but if we look at them and we heal them, they're actually the driving force that propels us forward. So this is a time to, like Cancer, kind of go within and be sensitive and feel that. And I have to jump around. My notes are very sporadic here. So Cancer is the mother, the home, and so you really want to feel into this and nurture yourself, nurture your heart, which is your divine brain, basically. And your mental brain is hooked to your ego. So becoming aware of the constructs and the programming that we've grown up with, that kind of tells us to be in competition with others and to be better than others and to look down on others who aren't better than you, which keeps you in fear too. Like the ego also it's driven by fear. So like, oh no, I'm not going to do that, and fear of like this is going to happen. So this time with the Cancer full moon, it's a very good time to do the opposite of that and be vulnerable, be open, intimate, loving, caring, tender with yourself, and to forgive yourself. That's a main thing for things that maybe you didn't do that you wish you did, or doing things that you wish you didn't. Forgive yourself, because forgiving yourself turns off the judgment within yourself, and it allows the love to the natural love that we all are. It allows it to resurface, and for us to feel that and to come back home to that love, that mother energy, the nurturing. So as we go within and we get quiet, that's very important. I would recommend, I'll do the recommendations after. As we get quiet and we go within and we turn off that inner judgment, we forgive ourselves, and we can turn off the fear and move over to love, which then in turns us to be able to turn off the judgment to others and allows us to see others as a part of ourselves, because we are all a part of a greater whole. We are a part of source energy, and we, as a human race, we all come from the same place. So being able to see the divine in you, to get quiet, to feel into your heart and nurture yourself, and to feel that makes it stronger and allows yourself to see it in others. So helps you to heal your relationships with yourself and with others, and to not judge people or condemn people, which is what leads to fighting and war and all of that on a grander scale. So look at how you have been interpreting security in this year, like especially with the clingy and possessiveness and being too cautious of moving forward. I definitely experienced that this year, with relationships, and not really wanting to put up boundaries, but feeling the pushback and knowing like, this kind of hurts, I don't want to do it, but I have to, which did make me feel better. Also being a little bit possessive in different areas of my life and different relationships. And this year for me especially was really hard. I've been on a journey for 6 years of spirituality, and it hasn't been easy, but I've felt better. It's been really worth it. But this year I've definitely experienced like another level up, and I always like to say to people, be careful what you wish for. That's a real thing, because 3 years ago I was asking for another spiritual level, and I got it with a medium experience when somebody who was close to me I knew had passed away. So that was kind of like a shocker, and changed, also like switched the trajectory of my life and where I was going in a good way. And now I kept saying level up 2020 as this year began, and this whole year for me has been like up and down in terms of like feeling really good, feeling my truth, feeling love, and then being ripped down back into the ego, back into the programming that I grew up with, back into like fearing everything and hating myself and judging myself. And I've been really tough on myself this year, and that's another thing that I have realized that I do. That is part of my programming, is being really hard on myself and never feeling like anything that I'm doing is good enough, or like I'm never doing enough. So look to your own life and see where you do that to yourself. Where do you judge yourself? Where do you just allow yourself to go into fear? Because it's easier than slowing down, feeling, thinking, and like releasing. I don't want to say it's hard work. It is tough, because in order to move and shift and elevate and to come into a higher vibrational state, you have to look at the negative feelings and heal them, because that's what propels you forward. When you look at it and you see, wow, like this isn't a part of me, this is actually holding me down, I don't want to own this anymore, that it brings so much freedom to you, and you feel so much love, and you feel freedom, and you don't feel that fear of like going forward and making changes in your life. And it's always easier to stay comfortable, but that doesn't really bring you any happiness. I mean, if you want to stay in the lower vibrational state of fear and being angry and not thinking life is worth anything, that's your choice. You're making that choice to do so because you maybe feel like it's easier, it's more comfortable, of course. But to move into a state of happiness and joy and love and appreciation and gratitude brings you more of that. It brings you more happiness and more expansion, and it leaves the fear behind so that you can go forward and not be afraid to make changes. So this is about enhancing love and nurturing your heart, which is your spiritual divine brain, which will always lead you, if you listen to it, it'll always lead you to the right place. And so continue to tell yourself that you're safe to be vulnerable. And so fight against the urge to kind of avoid the harder things that you know will help you to grow. And so to also be aware that it'll help to be open in awe of the beauty of life and be aware that right across from Cancer is Capricorn. So Cancer is the mother. Capricorn is the father. And one of the shadow sides of Capricorn is judgment. So there may be a light shining on how you've judged yourself or how you've judged others, and don't get mad at yourself for that, because that's a part of our programming that we're shedding. It's okay, just become aware of it and see, kind of like how I did. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do what I did, but it helped to see how I was continuing to judge myself to be able to let that go. I had to become aware of it and realize I'm not a part of this. This doesn't own me. This isn't me. So, So my tips for this full moon is to let go of your ego and the fear and go into a safe place and get really quiet and feel what your heart is trying to tell you. Maybe take a bath with Epsom salts, because that clears your energy. That's a really good way to kind of release old stuck energy. I love dancing. Definitely move around first before you get still. What helps is to move around or dance or exercise, whatever you like to do, whatever kind of activity that will get your body moving and sweating. It kind of releases the stuck energy, so that when you do sit down to be quiet, if you do meditate, or any kind of activity that helps you to quiet your mind. For some people it's cooking, or some women do their nails, and as long as you can be quiet and listen to what your heart's saying, it would really help to move the stuck energy out first, and then get quiet and sit within yourself. Or you could do the opposite. It might help you to get still first and listen, and then shake off the energy. But the point is to do something to be open to yourself, love yourself, nurture yourself, care, be tender with yourself, and try to become aware of, how you were being afraid to move forward in your life, and look at that and see how you can shed the fear. It's been a really tough year for a lot of people, so this is easier said than done. But with us moving into 2021, this is freedom and joy and truth and expression. It will really help to use the energy of this full moon to kind of shed all of that away from yourself, to come into this new energy, this new year, with this new sense of joy and just feeling light and being able to love, especially if you have kids or loved ones that you're close to who see you on a day-to-day basis. Be the inspiration for that, because people see what you are and how you act, and they're inspired. They're touched from that. They are affected, and so it reaches out, it ripples out more than you may understand. So if you have children, this would be a really good idea to do this and look into these energies, because it'll help you to shed old programming and not continue to give it to them. I don't have children myself, but I think it's very, very, very important to teach the new generations coming up the new ways, and it really is about us changing, shifting out of these old programming patterns so that we can show them more love. We can show them a good life and get out of showing them fear all the time and teaching them how to live from fear. That's kind of the whole point of, as the end of the year comes to a close, and having this beautiful Cancer full moon, which is the full moon that we started off with in the year. It's really like a closure, look back at the months that we've had and see, go month by month and see what you learned from that and how you dealt with things, because we all have a choice. We all have a choice to see something for a lesson, for something to help us to grow, or to see it in a negative light and kind of toss whatever on it, saying well, poor me, and why does this always happen to me, and blah, blah, blah. It's very easy to do that. but this is a really good opportunity to make the choice to shift and move into love. Because again, as you nurture and love yourself, it pours out naturally. You don't even have to do anything to try, and it touches everybody in your life around you. I've definitely seen that in different parts of my family. Without trying, it definitely affects the people around me. So think about those things, and remember, this is a time to move from rigidity and fear into fluidity and love and free expression and joy and freedom, which is where we all come from when we first come into this life. So that is my piece on the Cancer full moon. I hope you have a great new year, and good luck in 2021 to all of you, and I will see you soon.